Hey everyone. So a few people have asked in the group how to be able to track your users and know who's active and who's not. Thought I'd create a quick video to show you how I've done it using Google Sheets and Zapier. The end result will be a sheet like this one, which tracks each of your users, what lessons they've completed, what dates they've completed those lessons, and then I've got a couple of formulas on the end here that essentially calculate how many hours since they last completed a lesson and creates a warning if, in my case, they've taken more than 48 hours to complete the last lesson. I won't go into these formulas in detail, but if you have any questions about the formulas, let me know and I can help you out on those as well. You're going to need three things. You're going to need a Google Sheets account, you're going to need obviously your Passion account, and you're going to need a Zapier account for this all to work. I also highly recommend creating your Google Sheet template before starting the process. I'll show you why as we go through, but I'll also be linking this sheet in the comments so that you can take a copy of it if you just want to use my sheet as well. So with that said, let's jump over to Zapier. In Zapier, you're going to create a new Zap and search for passion.io. Now, in your case, it's going to ask you first to connect your Passion account if you haven't already. It's a pretty straightforward process of just logging into your account. But once again, if you have any trouble, feel free to drop a message in the comments of this video or in the Facebook group, and I will help you out. Once you've connected your account, you're going to want to go into Choose Event, and the event that we want is Lesson Completed. So you can just click that, and then hit Continue. It's going to ask you to confirm the Passion account that you want. And this is where you'll have to log into Passion and just accept the connection. Once you've done that, you can hit Continue. Under the trigger where it says lesson, we want all lessons to be recorded. Once you've selected that, just hit Continue. It's going to pop up with a box here asking you to test your trigger, which is fine. You can just hit that. And essentially what's going to happen here is it's going to show you a sample lesson, which you can use just to confirm all the different fields that are available for us to use later on in the process. Assuming that's all gone well, just hit Continue with selected record. And now we need to select that we want to connect into our Google Sheet. So in my case, Google Sheets is already here. I can click it. In your case, you might have to search for it. Under Event, you're going to want to scroll down and select Create Spreadsheet Row. Hit Continue. At this stage, if you haven't previously connected your Google Sheet account, you'll just have to do that. In my case, I've already got my Google Sheets account connected, so I'm just going to go through and do that. Once you've selected your Google Sheet account, just hit Continue. In this section, you just need to select your Google Drive. And next we need to find the actual sheet that we want to connect into this process. I'll show you a little hack here. If you go over to the sheet that you've saved in your Google Drive and just grab this string of characters in between the two slashes, copy that, jump back into Zapier and just paste it in the search, and it will find that file for you. If you have multiple tabs, you'll need to define which one. In this case, I do have two tabs, so I'm just going to select that it's going in my template tab. Now, this is why I mentioned earlier, it's easier if you actually create the column headers in your sheet beforehand. Because I've done that, Zapier has automatically picked up all the column headers from my sheet. And now all I have to do is map the fields against them. So you can see this is the column called first name. I can just go in here and find user first name, fill that in, user last name, their email address. For this one here, we want to find the actual lesson name, which is this one here, lesson name. Now, when we get down to the date time, there isn't a date time that comes through from Passion, but that doesn't matter because we can still use a Zapier function to send the time that it records in Google Sheets to one of the fields. I'll put this in the instructions as well, but what you're looking for is a field that Zapier calls the Zap MetaHuman Now field. You just copy this text exactly as it is here and paste that into the field here. If it works correctly, you should see it come up exactly like you're seeing here, which is going to put the month, the day, the year, the hour, minute, etc. into that field for us. You can ignore hours since last and the warning. Those are my two working fields from my template. So just hit continue. Scroll down and read through, make sure it all looks correct. So that all looks fine to me. And once you're happy that that's all looking good, just hit test action. If everything goes according to plan, we should be able to jump over to our spreadsheet and we can see there that new row has been added in. Now in this case, just to show you how my template works, you can see here the formula ends at the last row that I edited. So I just need to drag these two columns down further. In my case, this formula is actually checking the email addresses so that make sure it's only looking at the same user. So what you'll see here is if I were to copy this down again, now these fields are calculating to make sure that it hasn't been over 48 hours since the last time this particular user did anything in my app. Now, one important thing to note, because my formula is checking against the email addresses, obviously over time we might have different users stack on top of each other, and so the formula won't work. The easy way to get around that is simply to set your table sorting. So to do that, we just go to Data, Sort Range, Advanced Sorting, and we want to add in two columns here. We want the email address to sort alphabetically, and we want the date time to sort, in this case alphabetically, which means chronologically, and hit sort. And so that way, if we just refresh that sorting from time to time, it will make sure that each user is lined up. I'll just do an example quickly to show you guys. Let's do that again. Sort range, email, date, time, sort. And you can see there it's moved that user up. So now I can make sure, just drag these down again, make sure everything's working as expected. And just to show you once again, if I were to change these dates around, you can see there it's warning me to check in with this user because it's over 48 hours since they last did any work in my app. I know that was a very quick and dirty tutorial. I hope that that's helpful. If there are any questions, please just reach out. Or if you'd like to format your Google Sheet in a slightly different way, I'm happy to help out with that as well. Just drop a comment and I will give you a hand.